Alright, this is actually pretty good. So let's go for Invoke Justice, and we basically have haste, so we need this and this. Okay, that's the best split. And I will play like this. Oh, I have a good idea. Oh, I should have thought about it faster. You can use Destroy Evil to kill this enchantment, and then they are blocked by AO. And they are for nasty surprise. We definitely do it next turn. Hello everyone, it's Sloth here, and today we are going for Mono White Invoke Justice Sanctuary Warden Emperor deck. Yeah, that's the name. And AO is also here, and AO will win us some games today, so definitely a nice addition. So the whole deck, of course, you know the idea behind Invoke Justice and how those decks play, but this one is very interesting for some extra reasons, because we have very nice engines to discard the card that we want to resurrect, and we discard early. So Raffine Informant, of course, card that has seen some play in, you know, specialized decks that like this discard effect especially. And when you cast this on turn 2, it is a 3/2. It helps you find the lands, which is one of the reasons we are actually running very little lands, especially for my standards. But believe me, test it, it works better. So you get the land and you get a good creature that has 3/2, and you get chance to dump the Warden or AO into your graveyard. So this way, when you cast Invoke Justice on turn 5, because you are mono white, you are guaranteed to cast it perfectly on curve. It's actually pretty strong play, and especially even though this is our game plan, right? We want to get those things going, right? And this is the perfect scenario. But look at this part of the deck. It's still insanely strong, and Wedding Announcement together with Eiganjo, with the dogs, with Serra Paragon and Emperor can suffice for basically another game plan. And this is one of the nice things. Sorry for flickering, but I think the presentation was pretty cool. So even when we don't hit the perfect cards for this deck, I feel that the deck is absolutely, you know, pushing the damage. And you will see in today's games, we had very often situation when we didn't make the whole Invoke Justice plan. The deck is absolutely strong, and the fact that you have a very nice 2-drop usually, followed by very often multiple Wedding Announcement, like even as Restoration of Eiganjo feels kinda like Wedding Announcement, because you get more power at some point in the board, especially that chapter 2 in this deck, it actually makes a huge difference. It is a 2-mana acceleration very often. If you discard Raffine Informant or the Spirited Companion, you are getting a free drop just on top of all the other drops, which extremely, especially against mono black decks, makes such a huge difference when you have this additional creature. So you know you have this pressure, very nice early game, and with Emperor and AO as a finisher. AO can absolutely destroy everything. Like, the fact that it doesn't tap means this never dies to Emperor, which is a bigger deal than you might expect. Like, I have so many games when someone used AO and I hit Emperor, and then I thought, oh crap, I cannot kill it ever. Until end of the game, it won't die to Emperor. And the fact that it has flying, it doesn't make a super huge difference for the damage, like on the face, but on the Planewalkers, it actually makes a huge difference. And you also will see this difference in the games, when maybe we will kill some Planewalkers that other, you know, ground creatures cannot deal with. And killing Planewalker can be a game changer. So of course the passive ability is absolutely amazing. And even the ability number 2, put 2 +1/+1 counters on each permanent you control that's a creature or vehicle. Usually we don't use it. In this deck you have so many creatures, so many tokens, like this ability sometimes can be much better than just getting some value for the next turn with first ability. And that's usually something I never use. I actually never used this second ability before this deck. So alright, so this is the idea, and don't forget, very often, this is very aggressive deck. It feels like, you know, you are going for this control, late game, farewell thing, but actually you are trying to kill your opponent. Farewell is, probably this is one of the worst decks for farewell I have run so far, and I can see going without it, but I feel that you just cannot sometimes keep up with all the enchantments, all the stuff. Oh man, it's a hard one. Like, you could try the version without farewell, but I thought that it's more responsible to give you the version with farewell, because it is easier to play a little bit, and it also answers whatever your opponent has. If you don't have farewell, you cannot go for the emergency mode. You actually need to kill him faster than he kills you, and there's no other way to win the game. With farewell, you can actually think about the whole game plan and you can play differently. So 2 slots, you can think about them. Alright, so with that being said, of course, Warden is the late game. Be careful about the shield counters, you know the drill by now. Serra Paragon is important, and this is the card that will make you unlearn playing land first, because there's no decision there. There are. Sometimes you want to play land from your graveyard, especially that this deck doesn't have a huge draw engine. Yeah, we have Informant, yeah, we have Spirited Companion and Warden, but those aren't really card draws. So very often you actually really need this extra land, especially if you are playing against Liliana that keeps discarding your hand. So, land is premium sometimes, and even if you cast this on turn 4, and then you can build up to land 5 and 6 thanks to the graveyard thing, and still get enough cards in the hand thanks to, basically getting a free card, because you can discard a land to Raffine Informant, then play it for free, and you just got the free value from the Paragon. And of course, you can go for the actual value with all the wedding announcement, Eiganjo. In reality, they usually are not in your graveyard, or if they are exiled or something like this. But Raffine, Informant, and Companion are usually the biggest target for Paragon, and they are really good because then you can dig for your AO, Sanctuary Warden, Invoke Justice. One thing you need to really remember in this deck: if you are playing against mono black, think twice before you play this on turn 2 and discard Sanctuary Warden. Maybe it happened in one of the games, and maybe I regretted it. I have no idea. I watch the games and see. But definitely Trespasser is a thing, and it goes exactly on curve after discard. So it means that if you discard Warden, he casts Trespasser and your plan just got wrecked. One solution is to cast it one turn before, after the Trespasser is gone, but in reality, I think the better choice is just to discard something else, especially that is not a creature or is a dog or something like this. So don't go full greed mode unless you are sure it works, because you might get absolutely destroyed if you discard your best card for the matchup, and then you have nothing to invoke justice, especially that Trespasser keeps exiling every turn, so there's high chance you will have empty graveyards, so you cannot recast it even. So definitely think about those plays. And in reality, you can use Trespasser Ward. If you cast this on Trespasser when it has 4 toughness, so the night mode, you can actually discard Warden then. And if you have something like 7 mana, you can cast Invoke Justice right away, and you have no risks of exiling Warden, and you got rid of the big creature. So those are the plays. You might see different cards in this deck, because I was experimenting with different versions. I went a little bit higher on the lands, but then I got flooded. I was trying to play without Destroy Evil, so you might see Fateful Absence. And yeah, even though I said we don't draw cards, when Shrouded is in the board, you feel that you draw quite a lot of cards with all the things, Informants, Companions, Warden. You actually can draw, 2-3 cards a turn, and you will feel the damage, especially if he heals with Bankbusters, Shrouded, blocking, and your tokens are not bigger than 4-5. It means that every time you attack, you lose something, so very often you need to be more defensive and attack by air, with Wardens and AO and Paragon, and it means that he has way more time and he can buffer damage much more than normally, and you cannot kill him in time. One of the reasons then to use Farewell or ways to deal with this is Farewell, and the second one, kill Shrouded, and that's why this card is in the game. So definitely you can trick, you could even add to 3, I think, but I wanted to be on the aggressive side still, so that was my style with this deck. So subscribe if you liked the channel and the decks, and have fun. Oh, and this is your bonus for staying until the end of the intro. I forgot about the stats. We went 5-5 with this deck. We won 5 games and we lost 5 games. So in Diamond it's exactly like 50%, and I think that's where this deck is, more or less. So enjoy, and let's go with the video. Alright, so we are going first. Our start is pretty slow. We don't have Raffine Informant or anything, or even some dogs, but you know what, on the play, 3 drops are good enough. Man, I like those plains so much. Not as much as islands, and swamps, and forests. It's better than the mountain there, though, and we just drew the perfect card for the turn, so that's really good. Alright, so we get to 3, 4... Yeah, this one might be important. But what we'll do with this card? All of those cards are really good. Yeah, let's steal this. Let's steal this. We are bound to draw a land at some point, and I don't want to discard something like AO. Like, it's a really big deal. Alright, that's interesting. Oh man. So next turn it might be the Emperor, so we need to play something that gives the highest impact, and this will be it. He will pump it, right? But attacking him does not matter because of the lifelink. Like, he can just raise us, so even on that board state, we hit him, he hits us, and he's at 20 and we are getting 2 damage a turn, so not really anything, you know, forward. Okay, 1 mana enchantment, go. Thank you. Cool. So he played for maximum like synergy, so he gets the most triggers. And unfortunately, he can attack. You generally don't block attacks with Michiko if you can take them. And that's a thing. This has trample. This is so annoying. Because I really want to get rid of Naturalist. But it means that we lose the Emperor. Maybe we should. Maybe it's worth losing him tempo. Yeah, he gets +2/+2, like 4. We cannot give first. Yeah, I think it's worth it. I know it's a weird play, a bit wasteful, but it's worth it. Like, the tempo that he's getting is so huge, and he still has 3 cards.
You are not much of a roadblock.
And we won't be able to block, but we also won't be able to attack. So unless we wanted the card, there's no sense in attack. I used Wedding Announcement so early because I want the flip as soon as possible. Flip is huge in this kind of matchup, like you need raw stats to try to contest them. Imagine all of those had +1/+1. Suddenly we could defend the Emperor and we could trade with this and like good things would happen. And right now I think he might have this 4 mana spirit thing. Hollow, whatever, I don't remember. The card that produces the tokens when he casts the enchantments. And this is one of the reasons this is not a huge deal, but maybe he doesn't have more lands and maybe he had this 4 mana enchantment. So Naturalis would ensure that he can cast it, and now he can. It's not the biggest play. Biggest play was casting multiple 1 mana enchantments. But, you know. Oh, that's interesting. So Wedding Announcement, right? That seems to be the only reasonable target. But that's not super efficient for him. Like, it's good, but it's not like the best. And he wasted 4 damage right now. He had to, but that's one of the upsides. Alright, and I feel this is the time for AO. Like, he needs to start shining. We don't block with the other thing, so now we can attack. We won't be blocking anything from his side. And if we block, it will be with AO. I guess maybe if he stacks Kamis. Oh my god, really? Man, they only play 4 removals in the deck. Okay, maybe 8 because they have this vampiric thing. Oh man, pretty annoying because it's also exile effect. But you know what? We are amazing top decker, so that's actually pretty fine. So, I am the player. We go like this, so we can start trading. We exile this one. Do we try to protect the Emperor? I think we do. So that will be a 4/4, this will trade, and this will be a champ blocker. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's, let's say it's good enough. Maybe not good, but good enough. Because this is the biggest threat right now. We don't play Eiganjo, it will be important. And let's start some attack. Like, he doesn't have lifelinker anymore. right? We did bad things to it. Generally, our opponent should know we have Eiganjo. That was a huge tell. No mana and still priority. It means land, and we didn't play it. It means Eiganjo or bluffing. So if you think logically, you know that nobody will bluff in Diamond, pretending he has a Eiganjo while he has a Plains. So it's like 95%. It's Eiganjo in the hand, and our opponent just casually drawing a third borrowed time against our third key card. It's fine. It's fine. And we got an amazing Plains from our deck. Let's pretend some desperation. That's my idea. Okay, that's a very conservative block, which is pretty good, but right now we clear the board. He has one card. Even his top decks cannot work around this stuff. And we start to go with Eiganjo. Let's get some land. We don't really have anything to get from the graveyard, unfortunately. But you know, we still get the creature. We get less lands in our deck, so maybe we'll draw something that is not a land. Our opponent is at 6, and if he loses it with such a good opening, such good top decks every turn, I will be so proud of this deck. Like, I don't really care, to be honest. But you know what, let's do it. Let's do it. Maybe we'll draw something amazingly, absolutely cool. That's a Raffine Informant. We don't block, so we don't care it's tapped. Like, you know, theoretically, we could draw something that matters. And to be frank, that really matters. So it can be Emperor. But then we need to live with it. And we kill him next turn with AO. Like, there's no point in not attacking, honestly. If we don't attack with everything, he's not at lethal, and maybe he bluffed Emperor and he gets away with it. So that's something you just need to play into. That's one of the powers of the Emperor. Even if you know it's an Emperor, you still need to play into it. I will help you. The guy with the biggest stats, that's the one. You click this one, and then you click this one. Not sure how long it will take for him, but you know, he's an enchantment player, so probably some Boros mentality. Alright, and this one has Vigilance and Flying, so I hope you have your 4th borrowed time from the top, because that's the only card that saves you. And man, he cannot even draw 4 of them. What a bad player. What a freaking game. That was so hilarious. Alright, opponent goes first. Our opening is definitely decent. Of course, we would much rather be on the play with this opening, because it nearly guarantees that we get enough pressure to kill our opponent right now. That could be a make disappear. Fortunately, it wasn't. Fortunately, it wasn't. I actually do want a land. Bye, AO. Hopefully we will see each other with Invoke. Yeah, that's definitely an eyebrow, like, you know. What the hell is he doing? Are we playing against Mono Blue with Painlands? No, okay, cool. I mean, what will you say for another Raffine Informant? Yeah, like, he has no counter spells for some reason. I will prefer my higher power drops. The only reason to keep Raffine Informant would be to play this and both of them, but I want something better. Oh, okay, now it makes sense. Okay, that's actually pretty bad. That's actually really bad. So let's attack and see if there's something we can fish, but realistically no, we need to raise him very quickly. I mean very quickly. So we can make a token of the Emperor. Like, I think Wedding Announcement is the big part here. And he... okay, he has creature, so that was trigger for some kind of protection spell. I think they might not have counters at all. So, let's prepare for absolute crazy of a turn. Hopefully, if he doesn't see the mana for Emperor, but even bad players keep at least 1 mana, so Like, good players keep 2 blue mana, bad players keep 1 blue mana, but all of the players keep at least 1 mana, so 1 Emperor won't be able to kill it, unless we cast it and then step and follow up with another removal, which we don't have. So for this reason we need to go with Ayo. And we attack only with Informant, missing 1 damage, but then we get more creatures that will start killing him faster. So that's a good deal in the end. Ayo is actually pretty important here. So I don't think they have counters, especially against creatures. They might have Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce is actually pretty good for this deck. What exactly this does? Rifling, whatever. Okay, cool. Stuff. It does stuff, basically. Okay. Oh, right. We cannot block it. However, we can attack him. Thanks to him not having Virtuoso, well, we cannot just attack with 1 creature, that's way too much damage missed, so unfortunately this token is wasted, but it is what it is. And I don't think it's worth the Emperor. Eiganjo, okay, sure. Pretty decent place. Indeed. And he still has 1 blue mana and 2 cards. That would suggest he has 1 spell that protects. So if we cast the Emperor, it won't do anything, and it will actually boost his damage and give him card draw. I don't think going for double Emperor is good enough. I think what we have to do is play a lot of dudes and start threatening him next turn. So he fears attacking a little bit. Invoke Despair is definitely a thing. Or, sorry, it's Justice. Yeah, I forgot there are other invokes than Despair. You can see that Despair is very strong on my side. Okay, so we drew some cards. Invoke Justice is basically 4 haste damage. And as you can see, he even casts Protection just to get some new cards, because he's basically over it. So far, he's losing the race. He needs to draw something good, and if he discards a land, it's chance that he has more lands, you know? Oh, I have a good idea. Oh, I should have thought about it faster. You can use Destroy Evil to kill this enchantment, and then they are blocked by Ayo. And they are for nasty surprise. Oh man, we definitely do it. We definitely do it next turn. Yeah, we have exactly 6 mana, this is the play. And that's a lot of damage, it's 14 damage and you are dead, so he needs to shore up, he needs to cast it, and in response we will kill the Drake. He has a lot of mana, but only 2 cards, it means that our 2 cards, cast in response both, are good enough. You don't draw a card, my friend. That's still another protection spell, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Let's hope that this is something that will pump the creature. Fading Hope. It means that it gets back, right? And he loses the thing. It's unfortunate that he will draw so many cards, but he needs to replay all of this, and he's super behind on board, and next turn it will be even harder for him. Of course the cards are super annoying. And don't forget, we have haste from the Invoke Justice next turn, so we can kill something at the end step. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Alright, so we are going second with Raffine Informant, which is pretty good. So, like, we have really good options, it all depends how amazing our opponent has draw, and so far his draw is amazing. Tenacious Underdog, 120%. Please, play the Underdog, now I look bad. Oh my god. Okay, but in all seriousness, that's actually good for us. Of course, they don't whiff on the mana, but still. It's at least a little bit more, and we need to discard something that is not a land. Yeah, we won't have a lot of time. Trespasser is a huge problem, and I just regretted my decision. Okay, they don't have it, but to be fair, that was bad decision. It wasn't worth the risk, I think. Alright, so we are actually doing something. So let's get our planes and our ramp, most likely. And we need to go into Invoke Justice as quickly as possible. We are not the aggressor. He's at 22, we are at 16 against 2 creatures and Bankbuster. We are absolutely the defender here. Oh man, we are such a defender. Alright, and they went for the Death Touch. That's interesting. Good decision. Why does this have menace? What? Vehicles you control have menace. Oh my god, this has text. Who would think? And I actually should have discarded it. That is my bad, I think. I guess we don't get... Well, there is an upside to this. It would come into gameplay tapped. So, you know, in a way, 3-4 is pretty decent. Of course, we are still the defender. Man, he's doing all of... No, no, don't you dare play this. I don't want to see any kind of 3-drops that is a werewolf at night. Definitely. Oh man, please don't do it. I'm scared, I'm really scared. They definitely play it because it's best 3-drop basically for black mana. But if they didn't play it so far, I'm quite hopeful that there is a chance. Are you freaking serious? You really needed to think so long about it. I hate him. I hate him so much. We need to win this game now. Because it's annoying. Alright, so he went for maximum aggression. I think this is the play because we can replay the Informant later and kill with Eiganjo something. I mean, like, we have ways to go through this. Like, I can just invoke Justice and get everything back. You know what? It's good enough. And I will be the player. That's interesting. So, I think we get at least one here. I want both of them to have 5 toughness, so they don't die to the Bankbuster. And probably the rest here. I think so. And let's connive, hoping for a good draw. You know what? I think that's worth it. We need the maximum stats right now. We are getting quite strong on the board. And even something like Invoke Despair won't hurt us. Eiganjo needs to be our deal breaker. Oh, he got scared. Suddenly he feels that he needs to get a new card or he doesn't win this game. So we need to start to be aggressive, unfortunately, which is hard with all the menace in the battlefield. And we are at 2, because when he attacks, he deals 1 damage. And he really wants to attack with Trespasser, but then he will lose it, so it's not worth it. Oh yes, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We definitely play land. I think it's still the Eiganjo turn. So we want to play it, so this way we can gain some life when it dies. Those are pretty good cards, not gonna lie. Maybe I should attack with Architect first. That's a real possibility. And no, we are not discarding the Warden. Yeah, that was, to be fair, that was absolutely my blunder. He might double block it. And I'm fine with it. We definitely should attack with something else. I think this will be the attack. If he attacks with everything, with Menace we need so many blockers. So he can attack, he can play something, attack with this, this is 4 blockers already. So yeah, we cannot go higher. Like, this has vigilance and we get the token. Okay, we get the token. So this is you know, it is acceptable. Oh, that was my saying. And we can Eiganjo something. So I think, man, not sure if we could spare 1 more attacker. I'm a bit scared, maybe I'm too scared, but well, maybe this would force Lethar next turn, but then it's very likely that we die. So I didn't want to go, especially that we have recurring value with all those things. We nearly die, but we don't die yet. It will be super close though. I really want to lose the Spirited Companion, because then we gain life. I wonder how he will play. Man, his draw was really good. Even though he didn't have mana, he had all the plays every turn. He didn't like whiff on a single turn, I think. Well, Sleeper definitely helps with this, right? You can always use the mana. Well, I see. Yeah, unfortunate. So now attack from the Trespasser kills us. I guess let's... Well... Yeah, let's play the land. The problem is that we need to farewell this turn. Or we die. If we farewell, we still might die. So, the only choice is this. Oh boy, that's pretty big tell what's going on. We will go through the blocks, and then there is chance we might kill our own companion just for the life gain, and I honestly think this is pretty decent. But we don't have legendary creatures, so I guess... Oh, that's annoying. So we will have only 3 mana. No, 5 mana, so we lack 1 for the farewell then. We needed 1 discount for this plan. Like, we don't die if we farewell. But we might die depending on what his hand is. If he blocks wrong, maybe we don't need to farewell. Like, if he blocks something with Shorted, then we just kill Shorted, and that's good enough. We have 2 blockers still, so that's something. This has no haste. Alright, so 1 attacker with Menace is down. Alright, and he went for a lot of damage, so he's taking 11 damage. That's quite a lot. But to be fair, that's a smart decision by him. He knows that he's winning unless something bad happens. So let's make sure that something bad will happen. Unfortunately, we cannot play anything after it, and we need to sweep creatures. We should also go for the graveyards. That's an issue, because if he has Trespasser, it kills us directly, and there are creatures in the graveyard. So it's not optimal, but that's the play we have to do. If he has like Invoke, we are in huge trouble. Okay, he doesn't have any creatures. That's good. That's good. So we can have 8 or 9 mana. If we play this, we can use Wedding Announcement. You know what? That's good enough. That's good enough. I should draw first. That's still a mistake. It won't be a biggest one, but you know, it's still a mistake. We still die to invoke the spare, but he cannot use like Liliana or something to get rid of the Warden. Oh, he drew the invoke. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think that huge part of this... Oh. Okay, that's not a good game yet. Okay, that's a good game. I like it. Like, I like how he played it, because he showed us that he had the answer, and he also showed that he has direct lethal. Well played, my friend, well played. First, with Raffine Informant, that's always a pretty decent start. So, our game plan is basically playing on curve and hitting Invoke Justice, and I will discard the Warden unless it's mono black. Unfortunately, against mono black you cannot really discard Warden in advance unless you reanimate the same turn. And of course it's mono black because nobody plays other decks. But you know what, I still prefer this over mono blue. At least we play the game, right? And this card is absolutely hard here. Eiganjo is great. I think we need to go like this. All of the choices are pretty bad because they are such a good cards. Like I want all of those basically. But before turn 3 we absolutely cannot go for the Warden because he just cast the Trespasser and our game plan is basically over. Yeah, I think this is the play. And I kinda am the aggressor. I think I am the aggressor. Because we will have so much power in the board, and with wardens we can close the game. And we are at 20, he's at 17, so we are already ahead in the, race thing. Liliana is absolutely bad here. Unless he goes for the discard, then she's absolutely good. And that's the trespasser we didn't want to see. And even now I cannot redo it. Discard this one. Oh, that's a good draw. Alright, so do we go for the aggression still? Yeah, we go. Because next turn we activate the Warden with 9/9, and that's quite a lot. And we will have enough creatures that not Liliana and not Despair will hit our Warden. It means that this will be a 9/9 with shield that he actually needs to solve without the easy way. And right now our opponent is thinking, what the hell is going on? Why this guy is attacking me? He doesn't win the race, why he does it? And that's why he was so bamboozled, basically. Because he doesn't realize what will happen, and he knows that what he sees doesn't justify racing at all. We will be at already 10 HP. Sure, that is of course as always super annoying. I don't block this turn. If anything, I will block the next turn. To be fair, that's a really good draw. That's a really good draw. We definitely discard the Warden, even though we don't get anything. And how do we play this? How do we play this? Man, Wandering Emperor is so tempting, but it's just not the right idea. I guess I could put 2 counters, right? No harm in this. I guess it dies a little bit easier, but it basically has haste, so I still think it's worth it. Can I go to 5? No? Okay. Alright, so I think this is the best split, right? We can attack, he's at 9. Then we can threaten lethal next turn. He cannot double, to invoke the spurs are not a thing. And now we can block with the tokens if he attacks. If he doesn't attack, we have more tokens to attack and kill him. I think this is how we win the game. There is theoretical chance he attacks with Charlotte. I have no idea. Oh my god. How perfect can your draw be? 2, 3, 4, and perfect answer to the opponent's finisher. Well, this is probably the only card in his deck that answered the situation, and they usually play one of those in the whole deck, so yeah, that's cool. Absolutely cool. Okay, let's go to the main phase. Well, that was definitely something else. Fortunately, we still threaten the lethal. So let's mark and hope for the shortcut block, which will enable the Eiganjo. And then we don't die next turn, unless he has another perfect card, which I'm sure he has. Okay, perfect. That's really good. He still gets hit by quite a lot, but he shouldn't block with this one. That's correct. I would laugh and like at the same time to cast the Emperor and get free trade on the Trespasser, but sure, that is just too scary. It's great that he wasted Cut Down, because right now Cut Down would absolutely destroy us. So we... oh man, there are 2 creatures? No. Okay, that's super good. If there were 2 creatures, we need to take 3 from this? Sorry, okay. It's absolute nightmare, but it doesn't kill us yet, so...
I bring my own army.
That's cool. Definitely this. Yeah, only this. Okay, I just realized that I had force blocks. I for some reason didn't look at, this thing. I think I would be able to kill opponent. Man, I'm playing so bad today. Oh man, that was absolute disaster. Why attack Planewalker when you can just force the block on the face? That was absolute the worst play possible. Never, guys, do the same thing I just did. It was abysmal, like honestly. Okay, at least our opponent definitely tries to help us. So Emperor is pretty much a perfect block right now. He doesn't even get the lifelink because of the first strike.
I've learned much during
But we are still under insane pressure for no reason because I'm a bad player. Invoke Despair doesn't kill us, but it gets a huge value. So that's still bad. Maybe I will be able to get, you know, some redemption in the future turns because I messed up so much. If you have forced blocks, it means that your opponent needs to make the worst possible plays ever, and that's really good. We need to be careful about the creatures. He can deal direct 2 damage, but not more than this, and that's pretty important. Alright, so let's not be a dummy this time. Okay, we won the game. Yeah. We won the game. Man, I suck, but I still won this. Unless one of those 2 cards. Oh my god, it's a removal, isn't it? One of them is a removal. But it means that he needs double force block. Oh, that's not great. It's definitely not great. Alright, alright. So we can absolutely clear the board. And we will get 1 token from Architect. Let's play the land. Alright, so we kill this. We kill this. No, we kill this, and he blocks like this. And Emperor doesn't do anything. So we might as well attack like this. No real difference, and we have more blockers this way. Like with Emperor, he won't block this like that. No reason to, I think. Unless he fears Eiganjo, and I don't think he will play around it. Right now he needs to sacrifice 2 creatures for free, and that's really good. Oh, okay. So can we... yeah, we can trade for everything now. Man, our opponent definitely does not play around Emperor, ever. So it doesn't matter. Oh, it does matter. But I still prefer the Glutton. The only thing I'm thinking is, will he kill us on the spot with some direct damage? But I don't think he has cards like this. Invoke Despair is the only one. A Shortlet is probably the second one. But both of them won't kill us in 1 turn. So close. We gave them lifelink, but at the same time we killed the Trespasser. I guess he has 2 damage on air. But Shortlet is still 4 damage. It's not enough, and then he dies next turn. Liliana, I don't think she's good enough. Yeah, so I think we won, right? So we sacrifice this one. And he attacks. That's super interesting. Yeah, like that was a weird decision. He was better off by not attacking, but I think he still dies. Well, definitely didn't deserve this win. Alright, we are going first with dogs, so it can't go wrong. If you have good boys in your hand, hello, bolo, hello. Okay, this start was absolute like high quality content. Let's play some dogs and get some lands, I guess, so we don't get mana screwed. Double Emperor is definitely a bit on the bad side. We needed land or something else. And that's the first person ever that actually killed a dog. You are a bad person. Sorry to bring it to you. And yeah, we might still whiff on the land. Cool. 11 cards, 2 lands. Legit. And that's this hand smoothing, isn't it? Alright, that's still fine. That's still fine. So he kills the dog, which sucks a little bit. But we get the land. That's something. So right now we need to get back into the tempo. So we got behind after missing the land drop, and now with wedding announcement, when all the triggers go through, we should be kinda equal again. Kinda. And then we need to go with the Emperor. Like, I want to be on the defensive, because then they attack more, and then they make Emperor better. Vampire is definitely a good choice. Man, we are getting so mana screwed, it's not even funny. So let's make some tokens, shall we? This is definitely a problem. Like, we are missing second land drop, we should be at 5, and cast Invoke Justice. We are at 3, casting Wedding Announcement. Definitely not what you want to see, and this is the Invoke Despair turn, which still will hurt us. He will cycle the card, basically, and kill one of the tokens and one of the announcements, so no Anthem and no one token. So it still hurts, because he always have this card. You cannot play mono black if you don't draw all the cards. You know what? That's actually really good. I got lucky. Thanks for highlighting cards. The streak of amazing plays from my today's side is going on, but we still went for the thingy. Of course he exiles it, so it's not perfect. We would much rather have some graveyard, but you know, that's what happens when you are stuck at 3 lands for the full game. Alright, 4 mana. And that's actually quite important. You can finally get rid of this, because this is like real problem right now.
I'm home.
I honestly consider leaving Dog. And we can use this to pump our Invoke Justice, which is honestly pretty good. We could draw cards, but I prefer to have a board. Unfortunately, those vampires perfectly line with, you know, our tokens, but we can work around them. Like, at some point, and next turn we will have 3 trees. And I think we can start using Emperor to get rid of those. Oh, this is definitely a powerful draw. Can we kill him next turn? Not really, right? This is such an obvious Emperor. Such an obvious Emperor. Let's hope he gets the bait anyway. If not, we are in trouble. That I always forget about this trigger. He might kill Junji in response, but that's kinda fine. Like, okay, never mind. And now we are racing with 15-15, and that's a bit better. 15-15 is usually what I go for when I race. Okay, of course, another Despair, top 15 cards, easy. So that's only 8-8. But, alright, this is actually pretty good. So let's go for Invoke Justice. We could kill the Vampire, but why kill the Vampire when you can get the Warden? And we basically have haste. Okay, I guess the mid hook is a thing, so let's not go for the mid hook. So we can go for mid hook for 4. Okay, 4. So we need this and this. Okay, that's the best split. That's the best split. Because basically those counters get haste, and I will play like this. Because I want more creatures, I want cards, and I want to pressure him. Lifelink is a bit annoying, but now he cannot get lifelink anymore. And even if he tries to block, we can go for 11, 14 damage, and that's no joke. And we can still draw quite a lot of cards with Eiganjo and Companion. Okay, good, that's a bit late. And he actually doesn't have a single creature in the graveyard. Yeah, nothing to hit. He should go for the Emperor. He doesn't realize how this deck works. We don't have any way to use Invoke that was used, but we have ways to resurrect Emperor. This is actually one of the better targets. And he just left it in the graveyard. So let's punish our opponent for not playing too well. Man, I'm happy I'm not punished when I play back. Alright, so this is definitely a tricky situation for our opponent. And he double spelled, knowingly or not. Let's go for the attack. First we attack with those ones. They all trade, at least. Double block. Yeah, double blocking this is actually the best idea he can go for. And for this reason I think I will just get rid of the counter then. What about those? We don't threaten lethal yet. So we attack like this only. We get it to 4-4. So if he double blocks it, it's basically the same, and we got some free value. A good player would double block it, I feel, but he didn't realize what's going on. Okay, that's kinda good for us, I guess. Alright, so we don't have lands, so let's play the Restoration. It might come handy, and land is definitely needed. We also get some protection for the Anthem effect. Is this another Eiganjo? I think this is actually better, and this means that I should have started with this. So, also my bet. So we want to go white. Our opponent can mid-hook for 4, so he can kill everything, including his own creatures, except the Warden, and then we follow with Warden Train, and he will die. So I don't... Show that is probably always the best case, but even here I think he will be overwhelmed. Cool. It's actually better on the defensive if you don't attack, so and I would say another mistake, because then you block a creature and also lifelink. Now he only lifelinks, so unless he wants to kill us, I guess, that didn't make too much sense. Let's go for the Informant, we get it for free then. Yep, and we connive. We probably connive Eiganjo. At this point it's way too late. Yeah, our opponent is extremely tanking because he has 4 mana. Not sure what the decision is here, but sure. So he might have Infernal Grasp, I guess. Oh, Emperor is actually a really good draw, because it gives this extra pressure that he doesn't expect. So, you know, let's go the standard way and just smork our opponent like crazy. Especially with the Emperor. It's so good that he attacked with the Vampire. Right now all our 2/2s are exactly good. Sure, enjoy. It's also good that he did it before the attack, so now we can make a decision knowing that we don't have Warden. So our opponent definitely not on his best day, similarly as I. Let's attack with everything. Seems pretty good. With Emperor that should be good enough. We can lose the Emperor, that doesn't make a big difference. And now we have better and better board. I guess there is some merit to mid-hooking, but it's still so much damage that I want to damage him for like... Man, doesn't he like... No, he's at 2 after this. He also didn't crew, but okay, in this case it wouldn't make a difference. So mid-hook is probably his best draw, but then we just follow up with all the Wardens, and mid-hook also means that he doesn't kill the Emperor, and we get the Restoration token. Okay, that's at least with classy -2 life, I guess. Interesting game, definitely.